Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Serasana YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Darla, and I'll be leading you through a slow flow class today. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's come to a comfortable place on your mat. You may want to sit on a blanket or cushion or even a block, just to allow the knees to be even with or even a little bit lower than the hips. Allow the eyes to close. Begin to root the sitting bones down into the mat as you lengthen the spine, lift the crown of the head. Notice all of the space you have now to breathe through the body. When our spine is nice and long, it's much easier to breathe than when we start to round and collapse into the shoulders. So try to really maintain that nice long spine throughout the practice. Eyes are closed, face and jaw relaxed. Begin to let go of thoughts or worries. If you'd like to set an intention for your practice today, feel free to do that. And then as you're moving through your practice, take a moment to come back and revisit your intention to see if anything shifts during your practice. I always start my classes off with a quote, and here's today's quote. Knowledge is knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing whether or not to say it. Bring the hands to the heart center. We'll chant Om together. Let's take a deep cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. This time, let it all out through the mouth. Inhale to chant. Begin to flutter the eyes open. Feel free to change leg position if you need to. I do enjoy sitting cross-legged in Sukhasana, easy pose. However, easy pose is not so easy for a lot of people. So if you're more comfortable with the legs extended out or maybe at 90 degrees, then please feel free to do that. So whatever position you'd like to come into, go ahead. And then we're going to interlace the fingers. We're going to press the palms forward, round into the back, tuck the chin in. Make movements here, maybe lifting the shoulders one at a time, maybe moving the head and the neck. Just really opening into the middle and the upper back. On your inhale, begin to lift the palms up to the sky. Try to bring the shoulder blades back a little bit. If you need to soften into the elbows, that's perfectly fine. We want to bring the rib cage in very slightly. And then on your exhale, we're going to take it over to your right. Good. Opening through the left side of the body. Inhale, bringing it back to center. Exhale, taking it over to the left. Back to center. We're going to take a little twist over to the right. So release the hands, bringing the left hand to the outside of that right thigh. If you're just warming up today, your gaze may just be directly over to the right. So don't worry about coming all the way around. Remember, we want to keep the navel pointing forward. So our twist is coming from the middle and upper back and the shoulder blades, as well as the head and the neck. On your next inhale, release, bring the arms out and up, palms together, and we're going to take that twist over to the left. Good, so try not to push too far in your twist unless you're warmed up. You may have been Doing some driving, looking around in your blind spot. That's what I like this twist for. We can always see in our blind spot if we practice this. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Interlace the fingers again. We're going to do that sequence 2 more times. Press the palms forward, round the back, tuck the chin. Move the shoulders, head, and neck in any way that feels good. Inhale, bring the arms up. And we'll start to lean it over towards the right. Just a very slight little back bend here. The spine is arching very slightly. Back to center and over to the left. Back to center, taking your twist over to the right. Maybe the twist is a little bit deeper, maybe not, doesn't matter. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, taking that twist over to the left. Inhale, back up. And interlace the fingers one last time, pressing the palms forward, rounding into it. Make your movements here. So we're moving the spine in all directions it's made to move into. We're rounding in this position. On your next inhale, we're coming into a very slight back bend here. That's another position. And then we're going to move laterally over to the right, keeping the sitting bones on the mat. Inhale, back to center, reach up, exhale as you take it to the left, still in that lateral move. Inhale, back to center. Now we're going to take a twist, which is the other way, the last way. And then taking the twist over to the right. Spine is nice and tall. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, over to the left. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Palms come together and back to the heart center. Good. So even if you just have a few moments in your day for some yoga, just that little sequence alone is going to be great for spinal health. It's really important to keep our spine nice and healthy. So that little sequence is a nice one to remember. All right, so we're going to come on to the back. We'll bring the knees in. We're going to give ourselves a little squeeze here, a little rock side to side, just to stretch out the back. Maybe you want to kind of make some circles here with the kneecaps. Good. Now let the soles of the feet come to the floor. Knees are bent. We'll come into our figure 4 pose. So we'll cross the right ankle above the left knee and then interlace the hands behind that left knee. Flex both feet and then begin to draw the knee in. And it's your choice how far you come. Sometimes it feels better to draw the knee in tightly. Other times it feels better to let the low back, the sacrum, be flat on the floor. So that's going to be your choice. And then if you want to go deeper, you can take that right elbow, press it into that right thigh to move it away from you. You can also lean very gently. It doesn't take much. So you just lean to the left and you're going to get a little deeper stretch here. So we're focusing on the hip, the glutes, and the low back. All right, now if you're super tight, you may want to take your block and just place your block underneath this left foot, or just bring your left foot to the mat. And then you can take the hands and very gently just press the right thigh away. So if you're really tight, that's an option there. Or you can also use a strap underneath this left leg to help you draw it in. Nice deep breaths, just releasing tension and stress that you may be holding there in the hips and the glutes. And then staying in your figure 4 legs, we'll open the arms to a T. You may want to place the palms on the floor And then keep those legs in the figure four as much as you can. We're going to roll to take a twist over to the left. So the sole of the right foot, the outside of the left foot will come down to the mat. And then think of energetically pressing that right thigh away from you. So as soon as you do that, you're going to feel the engagement here in the quad and the hip flexor, the hip, the glute, maybe even into the groin. So we're getting a nice stretch through here as well as in the low back. So while our twist at the beginning was from the middle and upper back, this twist is coming more from the lower back. So shoulder blades are on the mat. Your gaze is either straight up to the sky or maybe taking your gaze over to the right if that feels okay on your neck. And then on an inhale, we're going to come back to center. We're still keeping our legs in that figure four, only this time we're extending that left leg straight up to the sky. Now, if you're having back issues, you may want to place the hands underneath the hips, and you may want to bend that left leg a little bit. We're going to be working our core muscles. So keeping both feet flexed. If you don't have your hands under the hips, let the hands come by your sides or maybe even hold on to the sides of your yoga mat. On your exhale, start to let that left leg come down. We're going to hover right above the floor. So you're engaging your core muscles here. Try not to touch the heel to the floor. Again, bend the knee if that feels better on your back. And then inhale, take it back up. Exhale, lower to hover, pause here. Feel all of the core muscles working. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower hover. Inhale, lift. Let's do two more. Exhale, lower to hover. Inhale, lift it up. Push through that heel to stretch through the calf and the back of the leg. Last time, we're going to lower to hover. We're going to pause. And inhale, lift it up. Good. All right. And let's just do a little windshield wiper just to stretch out the back. So this time we're going to keep the knees and the feet together. And we're just going to let the knees kind of rock side to side here. So just a very gentle twisting motion to release the back. So please listen to your body. If you need to take a break or you need to rest or a pose is not good for you, then please don't do it. So remember, there's two yoga instructors. One is here, which is me. The other one is inside of you right here. So if your inner teacher is saying, this is not good, then no bueno, don't do it. All right, so here we go on the other side, coming into our figure four. So left ankle above right knee. Interlace the fingers behind that right knee, flexing the feet, draw in as far as it feels comfortable for you. Maybe press the left thigh away, maybe lean slightly over to the right. So it really doesn't take much of a lean before you can get, or a rock, or whatever it is you want to call it, to get that just tiny bit of extra stretch here. So if you're wanting extra, it's not going to take a lot. Nice deep breaths, letting go. Letting go of all the stuff that you don't need on your mat today, which could be a whole lot. And then keeping the legs in the figure four, open the arms to a T, palms face down, roll to your right, let the sole of the left foot, the outside of the right foot come down, and then think of energetically pressing that top knee away from you. Your gaze is straight up to the sky, or maybe you're looking over to the left. Good, and then start to come back to center, and our long figure 4, right leg extends up, flex both feet. Your choice of where you place the hands. Remember to always protect the low back. So if you have back issues, don't hesitate to place hands under there, maybe bend that right leg. All right, on your exhale, lower to hover. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, lower and hover. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, lower, hover. You just want to pause. Inhale, lift it up. Good, 2 more. Exhale, lower to hover. Inhale, lift it up. Last time, exhale, lower, hover, pause here. Inhale, bring it up. Good, all right. This time when we release, we're going to come into our wide windshield wiper. So 1 foot on each side of the mat, knees are wide, arms can be out to the T or up and back behind you. So just let the knees rock a little bit side to side. You may want to really roll to one side and push down with the opposite knee. So next time you go over to the right, we're going to pause there. We're going to push down with that left thigh. You can stay here, or you may want to take the right ankle above the left knee. And without pushing down on the leg, we just want the weight of the foot to gently draw that leg down a little more to feel the stretch through the quad, through the psoas, as well as into the low back. If that is too much for you, then you just release and come back to the windshield wiper. And then if you have the ankle above the knee, release. Take the knees back through center and over to the left, pushing down with that right leg, staying here, or maybe left ankle comes on top of the right knee as you allow the weight of the foot to just draw it down. Good, and then release. Bring the knees in one more time. Give that back a nice little stretch. And then we'll slowly start to transition up. Take your time, however you want to get up. All right. So we're going to come to all fours. If you have sensitive knees and you have a blanket, you may want to take a blanket and place that down. All right, we're going to stretch into the legs here, particularly the calves. So coming onto all fours, we'll extend the left leg back behind. So you want the toes on the mat, the ball of the foot, and then really press back into that heel. Now, if you have wrist issues and this is not comfortable for you, you may want to come onto the fists. You can even come onto the forearms. So find what feels best for your wrist today. So we're just really pressing into the back heel, get into the calf, maybe into the hamstring. You can just stay here, or if you want to rock forward and backward, feel free to rock forward and backward. Good. All right, now we're going to lift that leg up, and we'll start to take the foot over to the floor on the right side. So you're on the outside of that right, or outside of the left foot. And we're going to turn the body, take a nice deep twist to look towards your toes. Inhale, bring it back up to hip level. Exhale, taking it over to the left, really twisting, looking back. So we're opening into the sides of the body here. And then bring it back behind you on the inhale. Exhale, taking it over to the right. Turn. Inhale, back to center, over to the left. And turn. Back to center last time, each side, over to the right. Really crescent over. Back to center last time, taking it over to the left. Good. Back to center. And then we're going to extend that right arm straight out. Palm is facing in. Draw the navel in. Square the hips. Push back with the left heel firm into the thigh. You can stay here, or to add a little core on your exhale, elbow and knee meet. Inhale, reach it out. Really reach with those fingertips and that heel. 2 more. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, reach it out. Last time, draw in. Last time, reach it out. Good. All right, let's come back to all fours. Come into a child's pose and maybe shift the hips around a little bit to stretch into the back. Rotate the wrists around, open and close the hands. We really want to protect our hands and our wrists in our yoga practice, so you do what you need to do to modify, okay? All right, now you know what's coming. So coming back to all fours this time, we're going to extend the right leg back and just push back into that heel, stretch into the leg. Again, if you want to shift forward and backward, that's fine. And then start to lift the leg up. This time, we're going to take the leg all the way around to our left, and we're going to turn the body, take a look at the feet. This is where I always say it's time for pedicure. Inhale, bring the leg back up. Exhale, over to the right. Turn. Back to center, over to the left. Crescent around. Back to center, to the right. Back to center. Last time each side, over to the left. Center, to the right. Center. Good. All right, now keep that leg extending back through the heel. This time, left arm, palm faces in. Square the hips, draw the navel in. On your exhale, bring the elbow and knee towards each other. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach it out. Last time, draw in. Last time, reach it out. Good. Come back to all fours. One more time in your child's pose, making whatever movements you need to make with the wrists, with the hands. Good, and then we're going to walk the hands over to the left and take that right wrist over. Shift the hips and the shoulders side to side just to really get into the right side of the body and the shoulder blade. And then over to the right, cross the left wrist over, same thing. Good. All right, now from here, we're going to come back to all fours, working core and quads. Curl the toes. We're going to barely lift the knees to hover right above the mat. So it's a very small move here. And then lift the knees just a little bit more. Teensy bit more. And then come all the way into your downward facing dog. You can move your blanket away. So in your down dog, remember you want to keep those hands as wide as the shoulders, no wider, feet as wide as the hips. Try to get the heels in the direction of the floor, whether they touch or not, firm into those thighs. Engage your core muscles. Energetically draw those thumbs towards each other. Relax the head and the neck. Good. Breathe here. Shift around. Make whatever movements you want here. And then on your next inhale, we're going to bring the left leg up and back behind. We're going to come into our three-legged dog with a twist. So bring it straight up behind, bend the knee, and then start to stack the hips open. Maybe you look underneath the left arm. Try to keep the arms nice and straight. And then we're going to start to come back to center, step the foot in between the palms to come into your lunge. Good. Really firm into that back thigh, so try not to bend into the knee. And then place your right hand on the mat or a block. Turn to the left. Raise the left arm up. Now you can stay here in your lunge, or if you want to pivot on the outside edges of the feet and then come into a different type of lunge. You can feel this more in the hips. Totally up to you. And then lift the hips up. Use your core. Good. And then we're going to come back to center. Plant the left hand to the inside of that left foot. Plant the heel behind you. And then we're going to turn to the right. Raise the right arm. If this does not feel good on this arm, take the back of the palm to the low back. And then roll the shoulder up to the sky. Firm into that back thigh. Firm into the outside of the back foot. And then come back to center. Slide the front foot back to plank. Engage your core. Firm into the thighs in your plank. And then lower down. You can either come onto the knees or you can shift forward and come into your chaturanga and cobra. Maybe you come into an up dog and a down dog. Or maybe you just skip that all together and come into child's pose. Good, and then we'll all come into a child's pose. So if you want to stretch into the low back, keep your knees together in your child's pose. If you want to open into the hips, open the knees wide, and then relax down. So your fingertips can either be up at the top of your mat or maybe down by your feet. If you have a hard time getting into your child's pose because your hips don't want to come down to your heels, you may want to take a blanket or a block and just keep building as much as you need to in between the hips and the heels. And that way you'll have some support so you're not just hovering right above there. You can relax into your pose. Good. All right, let's come back to all fours. Curl the toes, engage the quads and the knees, the core, and then slowly start to lift the knees up, hover. Lift a little bit more to hover. Teeny bit more. And all the way into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. So remember, we want to really engage the core muscles and try not to just collapse into the shoulders. So engage your core muscles. That's going to help you there. All right, three-legged dog with a twist, other side. So right leg comes up and back. Bend the knee. Stack those hips. Maybe take your gaze under the right arm. Keep pushing the floor away. Come back to center and step the foot in between the palms to lunge. Good. Plant the left hand on the mat or a block. Turn to the right and raise the right arm. Maybe turn on the outside edges of the feet as you take a little bit of a twist. Lift the hips up. Good. Come back into your lunge. Right hand moves to the inside of the right foot. Plant the back heel. Turn to the left or raise the left arm. Good. Bring it back down, back into your lunge. Slide that front foot back to plank. And then your choice if you want to take a vinyasa or if you just want to come into child's pose, whatever you choose to do. And back into downward facing dog. All right, on your next inhale, we're going to take the right leg up and back behind. As you exhale, we're going to take the knee to the right elbow to hover. So working the quads, working the core and the triceps. Send it back to three-legged dog. Over to the left elbow to hover. Send it back. In between the palms, hover here. And then we're going to come into fallen triangle. So extend that leg over to the left. Start to straighten both legs, pivot on the feet, plant the soles of the feet, lift that left arm, lift the hips using your core muscles. And come back to three-legged dog. And step the foot in between the palms to lunge. And we'll set that back knee down, coming into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. All right, so let's bring the hands to the top of that right thigh. Now, while we want to get a deep stretch here through the left quad and the psoas, we don't want to just collapse down into the front, and that's what happens a lot. So think of really drawing those inner thighs towards each other, engage your core muscles, and then try to really find that stretch into the front or the quad here. Good. On your next inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, draw the elbows down to the ribs, squeeze the shoulder blades, open the heart. Inhale, reach it up. Again, exhale, draw it down. Feel free to interlace the hands at this point. Roll the shoulders up and back. Maybe move the arms away. If your shoulders are too tight for that, you can always hold a block or a strap, or just bring the arms behind you with the palms to face up. And then release the hands. Bring the hands down on either side of the front foot. Straighten that front leg, flex the foot, use your blocks on either side if you want. That sometimes can help you straightening into the knee. Square the hips, get long in the spine, and then just try to drape over as much as you can to get a nice stretch through the hamstring here. Nice deep breaths. And then using your block if you want, or coming on to just the right fingertips. We're going to place those right fingertips next to the right calf. And then start to turn to the left and drop that left hip down. So the more you can bring that left hip down, you're going to feel that nice opening through the left side of the body. Good. And let's come back into our lunge. This time we're going to step the back foot up to meet the front. We're going to take a forward fold here. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Think of reaching back with the tailbone, reaching forward with the crown of the head, nice long spine. Exhale, fold it forward. Good, and step back to plank. Down dog. All right, we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So on your inhale, we're going to bring the left leg up and back behind. As you exhale, forward into plank, knee to left elbow to hover. Three-legged dog. Send it right back. Over to the right elbow to hover. Send it back. In between the palms, pause here, hover here. And then fall in triangle. So send the leg over to the right. Straighten the legs, plant the soles of the feet, lift it up. And then come back to your three-legged dog. And step it in between, the foot in between the palms to come into your lunge. And low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Drop the back foot down, back knee down. Hands to the top of the left thigh. Draw those inner thighs towards each other. Engage the core. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Exhale, elbows down to the ribs, open the heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, draw it down. This time if you want to interlace, maybe opposite thumb on top, roll the shoulders up and back. Squeeze, maybe move the arms away from you. Good. And then release the hands down. Start to rock back, straighten the front leg, flex the foot, bring the nose down towards the knee. And then using the fingertips or your block to the outside of the left calf, start to turn to the right, raise the right arm up, drop that right hip down. And then rock it forward again. Lift the back knee. Step the back foot up to meet the front. Take your forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to standing. Bring the arms out and up, palms overhead, and back to the heart center. Great. All right, let's kind of shake everything out. Let the body kind of reset. So when we want to reset the body, coming into our mountain pose is one of the best poses to do that, Tadasana. So let's come into our mountain pose. Let the feet line up with the inside of your hip bones. Arms are by your side, away from the body, palms facing out. Allow the eyes to close so you can really focus into all areas of the body that you are working. So begin to visualize the feet. Press into the mat with all four corners of the feet. So right underneath the big toe, the inner heel, right underneath the little toe, the outer heel. Lift the toes up, wiggle the toes around, spread the toes apart, and then let the toes come back down, still spread. So you want to feel that inner arch lifting slightly. Now engage the quads. Think of the tailbone dropping down to the floor, but we're not tucking it under. It's just moving down towards the floor. And then engage the core muscles. Bring the shoulders up to the ears. Roll those shoulder blades down the back. Lift the crown of the head up and draw the chin in. So feel nice and strong and connected here. On your next inhale, we're going to bring the arms out and up. We're going to come into our chair pose. So you've got the option of keeping the legs apart, or you can bring the legs together, your choice. If your arms are not comfortable up, bring them to another position that you can still work the quads. Now we want to make sure we can see the toes. So if your knees are going over the toes, you're going to want to sit back a little bit into the heels and down a little bit further. Really make sure that spine is nice and long. And then bring the hands to the heart center. We're going to take a prayer twist over to the right. So we're going to take that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Press into the palms. Make sure that that elbow is pointing up to the sky, crown of the head pointing forward. And then make sure that that left knee is not poking out because it's going to want to poke out. So see if you can draw it back. Sit back into those heels. Come back to center. Over to the other side. Back to center. Release the hands down. Slowly start to straighten the legs. Take your forward folds. Come all the way up to standing. We're going to bring the arms out and up. Let the palms face each other here. Good. And then bring the hands all the way down to your sides. Okay, now we're going to come into a balancing twist. So if you want to step off of your mat, if that makes it a little bit easier, feel free. And then on the inhale, start to lift the heels, lift the arms. We're going to be balancing on the balls of the feet. Bring the arms all the way up if you can. And then on the exhale, slowly take them all the way down. We're going to let the hands and the heels come down at the same time. So it's with control. All right, so we're really focusing on the ankles and the calves here. On your next inhale, we're going to do that again. Lift the heels, come onto the balls of the feet, lift the arms out and up, palms face each other. Exhale. Slowly release with control. Hands and heels touch down. Good. One last time. Inhale, lift the heels onto the balls of the feet, arms up facing each other. And slowly release all the way down. Good. All right. So let's roll that around, roll it out. And let's come back to the top of your mat. Find your mountain pose. Go through your checklist just like we did. On your inhale, arms come out and up. Take a back bend, reaching up and back at the same time. On the exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, come to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Come into your down dog pose. Good. On your next inhale, we're going to bring that right leg up and back behind. So again, straight up behind. Try not to turn it out to the side. And then we're going to make our way into pigeon pose. So we're going to take the knee in between the palms here. So try to make sure that that front foot stays flexed in your pigeon pose. The leg does not have to be at a complete 90 degrees. If it does, great. If not, fine too. All right, so we want to make sure that the hip, the knee, and the ankle on the opposite leg line up. So we're going to get deeper into it. Come onto the top of the foot, and then try not to lean over onto that right hip. So we want to come more to the center here so we can get a deeper stretch. Feel free to place something underneath, a blanket or something underneath that right hip if you need to. And then get nice and tall through the spine, and on your exhale, make your way down to the inside of the knee. And then you just come down as far as it makes sense to you. You can use your blocks or a bolster here if you choose. Nice deep full breaths. We hold a lot of tension, a lot of emotions in our hips. It's really important to keep those hips nice and open. And then walk the hands back towards you. We're going to lean over onto that right hip now, and then we're going to take the left foot around. So we're going to come into a twist. So sit nice and tall. We're going to wrap the right arm around the front leg. On your inhale, bring the left arm up. On your exhale, take it around. Take the gaze as far around as it feels okay on your neck. Keep drawing that left knee in to get the stretch into the hip. Good, and then on your inhale, come back to center. We'll unwind, come back into downward facing dog. Good, coming into pigeon pose on the other side. Inhaling the left leg up and back. On the exhale, taking the knee in between the palms. So line yourself up. Flexing into the front foot, not leaning over onto the left hip. Place whatever you need to there. Get the spine long, and then on your exhale, holding it forward. Really great stretch for the hips. Now, if pigeon pose is not good for your knee, you can always come into the figure 4 that we did at the beginning. So you can always come into reclined pigeon, your figure 4. Always an option. There's always options in yoga. Now I forgot which leg I was on. Good, let's take 2 more nice deep breaths here. And then walk the hands back towards you. Lean over onto the left hip. Bring the right foot around. Taking that twist, left arm wraps around. Inhaling the right arm up. Exhale, take it behind you as you twist. Good, come back to center. And we're going to come into our half boat, Navasana. So we're going to bring the legs up, hold on to the back of the thighs. Now what wants to happen here a lot of times is we want to round into it, because that makes it much easier. But think about really lengthening through the spine, straighten the spine, broaden across the collarbones. Now bring the arms away from you, and we're just going to touch the toes, let the whole leg move. So working into the hip socket, just touch one toe or one foot down at a time. One more each. And then let the legs come all the way down. Sit nice and tall. We're going to come into a forward fold. So the options is to bring the legs up so you can bend the knees and get more into the low back, or stretch the hamstrings with the legs extended out. Inhale, bring the arms out and up. Now we're going to hinge at the hips here. So really think of bringing that heart and the belly way, way out before you even think of coming down. So we're bringing out, and then down. Try to keep that spine long. And then once you get down there, you can round if you want. You can always use a strap around the balls of the feet if that makes it more accessible for you. And then here, if you want to kind of rock a little bit side to side, you can stretch into the low back. You may want to hold the feet and do a little cat-cow here. And slide the hands up the legs. Come all the way back up to your seated position. And then we're going to make our way down. onto the back. Bring the knees in, give yourself a squeeze, a little rock side to side. See if you can push all the way over from the left elbow to the right elbow and give that low back, the sacrum area, a nice massage. Let the feet come to the floor, open the arms to a T. We're going to take a nice twist here. So we're going to cross that right knee over the left. Lift the hips up very slightly and over to the right. We're just going to let the knees gently fall to the left. Now try to keep the shoulder blades planted onto the mat, so it doesn't matter how far the knees come. Your gaze is either neutral or over to the right. And come back to center. Unwind, square up the hips, and we'll take that twist on the other side. Left knee over right, hips lift up and to the left, knees to the right, gaze is neutral or over to your left. And come back to center, uncross, square the hips. One more squeeze to stretch the back. And then we'll come into Shavasana. So extend the legs straight out onto the mat. If you have any low back issues, you may want to place a roll blanket or blocks under your knees, or if you're more comfortable just bending the knees, that's okay too. So whatever you need to do for your back. And then arms are by your side, palms are facing up. You may want to lift up slightly and bring those shoulder blades underneath you a little bit more. Eyes are closed. Jaw is soft and relaxed. Allow the body and the mind to just absorb everything you did today during your practice as you give yourself permission to just be for the next few moments. Begin to deepen the breath as you bring your awareness back to your mat, moving your fingers and your toes. Draw the knees into the chest. Roll to one side. Rest your head on your arm for a moment. And come to a comfortable position with the eyes still closed. Knowledge is knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing whether or not to say it. Bring the hands to the heart center. We'll chant Om one time. Inhale to chant. I thank all of you for joining me in practice today. I'd like for you to thank yourselves for showing up on the mat. Thank your body for all the amazing things it does for you every day. I wish for each of you Shanti, peace in your soul, Santosha, contentment for your life, and I pray that you always honor the Satya, the truth that's in your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. So if you're interested in Serasana classes, if you look under, we are teaching live and also virtually, so you can look under Serasana, various locations, and if you're looking for a virtual class, look under Serasana Virtual, and there'll be a schedule of all of the classes. So again, thank you so much for joining. Hope you have a great day. Namaste.